Hello and welcome to this SlimDevOps episode 26. I'm joined by Primoz again. Hello, welcome back.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
Right, I'll get into what we're going to be doing in just a moment, but this was originally recorded live on twitch.tv/SlimDevOps on November the 25th. If you are watching this on YouTube after the fact and you want to join in interactively, then please head over to twitch.tv/SlimDevOps and give us a follow. Right then, so Primoz, I'm going to try very hard to use actual names today. But if the occasional nickname slips out, I apologise in advance. So, somebody in our community, I think it was Yannick, but maybe it was Danny, or maybe it was both of them, were asking about putting graphical applications inside containers or Docker containers. So, I think you said, I know how to do that. Or words to that effect.
Yeah, in theory I know.
In theory.
Right. It's a more shaky deal.
So yeah, in theory, I know as well. I've never done it with Docker. I've done it with LexD or Lexi containers. And obviously I've done it with things like snaps. But snaps do all of the hard work for you with regards to like the desktop side of things. So I think between the two of us, we might make one good person. I think we've got enough collective knowledge to be dangerous. I think is where we are with this. So. And I can see that Danny and Esme and Eric have joined us in the chat. So hello and welcome back. Danny, I think there is a high probability that you may get to put on your superhero outfit and swoop in and save us at some point. So without further ado, should we have a go at this, Primoz? Okay, now, and this is a little break for me because you're going to be driving today, so this is your code editor. I can keep an eye on the live chat and offer applause and encouragement and maybe some advice from the sidelines.
Okay, so I think the easiest way to get this started would be to actually have a Docker image that already has everything prepared, like X and everything else that you need.
Okay.
Then after that, you can either also build the app into the image, or you can install them from the package manager even. Actually, what last time gave me the push to look at this was the stream by you and about Fedora Silverblue and
with George.
With the whole Fedora toolbox thing.
Yeah.
I want to know how they do it with Podman. And Podman is basically Docker, just a bit of difference, but it's basically Docker. It runs based on same principles. It runs OCI containers. So I looked at it it can be done. Let's start with a Dockerfile.
Okay then.
So we're gonna need a base image, of course. So for me that is always Ubuntu latest.
Okay.
And then come the standard update and app upgrade, because no matter how much the image is new, there still might be security updates that weren't spun up by the time this image is pulled down. It could be Docker could even forget it needs to check. Happened to me before.
Right. So Danny's suggesting from GUI app CND GUI app done. I do think you're trolling, unless there is actually an image called GUI app out there.
Well, when installing something. The easiest way to do this would be to just install, for example, Firefox.
Mm-hmm.
It will bring all the dependencies with it,
Yep.
and including X. So then everything installed, we don't need to worry about what exact dependencies are for X and all that.
Okay.
We can start with that. And then all we need to do is tell it to start Firefox on entry point. So entry point Firefox. And that's it. Now we're gonna build this.
Okay. So this
all few
is
hundred dependencies.
Yeah. So this will be good, on the second or third time of running. So you're optimistically hoping this is just going to work, and I think we both know we're probably going to run into some bumps at this point. So don't be alarmed if you've got knowledge how to do this and you're thinking, hang on a minute, that's clearly not going to work. We're just going to see how far we get with this alone. But whilst this is building, what do you expect to happen when you run this? Oh, well, in fact, we're not even going to need to have to guess. You get to do it.
If you run it by itself, probably nothing should happen, and at best errors. Like this. No display environment variable. That is an X error that tells us that that X doesn't know where to go, to what display to go.
Right.
So,
and for those people that aren't familiar with Linux terms and internals, X or X11 or Xorg is the display server. It's one of the display servers now. It's the one that's been around the longest, and it's the thing that we use in order to display applications in a graphical environment.
As far as I know, in a very similar way, you could do with Wayland, the up and coming display server.
Mm-hmm.
You could do in pretty similar way, just specific things needs to be changed around.
Right.
So at this point, I guess we need to pass in some stuff.
Okay.
So first is as we know, environment variable. -e is display.
Yep.
And the easiest way to get that environment variable is to tell it what environment variable we have. So display.
Okay.
This is using bash way of doing just passing environment variable into a command. And now we do get that there is environment variable, but there is an error where it cannot find an init server, because there is no init server, since X11 is a daemon.
Mm-hmm.
And since it cannot find that server, it also cannot open a display 0, which is what's the name for the display on Xorg, or specifically my display.
Right.
For that, we need to pass in something else.
So what we're trying to do here is that it's a client-server model for X, and your container is going to be the client to your host operating system, which is running an X server. So you need to pass this app inside this container enough information to be able to be a functioning client connecting to your host.
Yeah, and for that it uses socket, Unix sockets.
Right.
And from this point on, it's a bit less clear what to do. I think I know what file to pass in. At least that's what internet told me. But
yeah,
that's the last thing. It's at least somewhat clear.
Okay. So we're going to try this, and for those of you that watched recently, so Danny is not just following along, but actually, providing the hints here. So Danny's just typed into chat what Primoz is now adding to this Docker run, which is to use a volume to connect the X11 Unix domain socket on your host computer inside the container. So with that done, what happens now?
There is no protocol specified, apparently.
No. Okay.
Okay.
That's new.
That's new.
So.
I think there is another thing we need to do.
Do we need to install Xauth inside the container if it isn't already installed? And do we need to connect the Xauthority token? That is one of the things that I've read about, and I know I didn't have to do. We need to set the network mode for the host networking as well, don't we?
Oh yeah,
that's probably the more important thing to be doing.
Do you know the
it's dash net net equals host, and what that does is runs the container with the host network driver, and that's, I think, so that it can therefore speak to your host machine rather than be inside its own network. No, that wasn't the solution. Okay, so then the next thing is to so there's I've got a couple of ideas here. The first is just to use the volume trick again to connect the Xauthority socket in your home directory. So another volume. The first half of this is going to be home.xauthority, and the other side of that is going to be /root, as in the root home directory, .xauthority, and then :rw, so that it's writable. So we've got some comments here. Oh wow, there we go, and we're in business. Okay, yes. Right then. I'm just gonna. I see we've got some comments. We'll get back there. We'll just take a moment to bask in some glory. We fumbled our way this far. So, first of all, Danny asks, "How old is X now?" I don't know that it goes back as far as the 70s, Danny, but it was definitely around in the early-ish 80s. I can remember first using X in...
We can check together.
Oh, go on then. Oh, we can in your browser that you've just, yeah.
And yes, I agree. So that would be... I just opened.
Wikipedia should know the answer.
Yeah, and that would be 37 years.
Wow, there we go. 1984.
Yeah.
There we go, Danny. 1984. I was going to say, I was pretty sure it was the 80s. I can remember using it when it was new. And that was in like 89. Okay, so this is excellent. So just going on here. So sorry about the optical illusion that my shirt is giving off. I did not think this through. I regret my life choices, Esme. And our podcast says, ooh, that's slick. I've never thought to try that volume trick. So we were discussing this earlier, and I've used that volume, or the equivalent of that volume trick, to do things like this with LexC, and not just for the X protocol, but also for Pulse Audio. So I suppose for extra points, we could do that, right? We could do the same thing for Pulse and see if we can make our graphical application do sound. Does that sound?
Yeah.
because
Good work.
because all you need is the Pulse client libraries in for the app, and then it connects to the server in exactly the same way. So I don't think you'll need to install any additional packages, because Firefox should have pulled in what's necessary. But we will need... Martin just opens up a terminal locally, because the Pulse server is in the XDG runtime directory, isn't it? So there is an oops, I've mistyped. So there's an environment variable, XDG _runtime _dir, and the Pulse audio socket is in the directory Pulse, and I think it's called native lowercase. There we go. So if you map that again, read write, probably in a similar fashion to the expanded path. Sorry, what's your question?
Yeah, I think we need the expanded path. Yeah.
Yeah, the expanded path is run user run/user/ and then the UID number. So I think it will be 0 because the context of this app is root at the moment. /pulse/native. I think that will probably be the right, and then read write probably :RW on the end of that.
Yeah,
that might work. Let's see. So how can we safely make a sound in a web browser? I say safely as in not DMCA stuff. Let's think about this.
Yeah.
My brain isn't actually capable of working that one out. Come on, let's see. Has anyone got... yeah, YouTube's dodgy because of ads and things. Oh, okay. I like your style.
Nope.
Oh, because we haven't installed the necessary codecs and things.
I don't have necessary codecs. So...
Okay. So actually it won't make any noise at all, because if it can't do the video, it's probably not got the sound stuff either. So okay, all right. Well, I think our approach holds water. So Yannick's trying to tell us to go somewhere, and unfortunately that's been knocked out. I think we would need to install more dependencies, but I think what we've got here is the crux of what needs to be done in order for a graphical app to be included. And so if you just look at your Dockerfile is remarkably simple. It's basically apt install Firefox. Now Firefox is handy because it installed a whole load of additional packages, which included the client libraries for what it needs to do with X itself. But I think I'll just look up a package name in a moment. But in principle, the hard bit is what's in your run command, which is all of these different environment variables to actually connect to the X socket, the X authority token, and in fact Pulse audio as well. And that's and do we? Can you just drop the net equals host bit to see if that's? Oh, that will be required, I think, but let's just drop that for the moment, see if that works. No. Okay, so that is a requirement. Okay, so we have learned that is needed. There we go. So those are the basic commands to get a thing going. So Yannick, why did you ask this question? Why are we here doing this? Which application did you actually want, or graphical application did you want to stick in a container? So, the Ubuntu podcast. Yeah, so I think the issue here is that we probably need to install some additional packages inside Firefox in order to get the audio going. It's probably one of the... Oh no, Firefox doesn't use FFmpeg, does it? So I'm just having a quick look at the package dependencies for Firefox. And... okay, so libcanberra 0 may do it because that's actually for system sounds, so that would probably pull in enough of the audio subsystem. Yeah, so if you installed libcanberra 0, that, I mean, it should have pulled that in because it's a recommends, so that may not do anything. Just have a look and see if that does anything. But there's a bunch of, I can see a bunch of audio bits in there. Yeah, go on then. Yeah, so it had already. Oh, is it doing anything different?
Yeah, because I changed but I'm not sure if it's doing anything different. Just because
because you've changed one of the layers. Okay, so if you'd have added that as a new layer, we could have benefited from the caching.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm honestly a bit wary of Docker caching. Been bit by it a few times.
Yeah. So Yannick says that he didn't have a particular application in mind when he asked this question, but if he were to make a graphical app run in a container, he would probably have been writing that app in PyQt 5 or Flutter. I'm guessing probably Flutter, Yannick, because it seems to me at the moment that Flutter all the things is kind of your mantra. Yeah, the run line changed, Danny. Yeah, so no. Yeah, and Danny as well is also writing an app in Flutter. So Luke is asking, Big Pod, is it possible that you could just increase the font size in the IDE? Thank you. There we go. Wrote the back end in Dart. So I'm thinking about learning Dart. And I'm not sure if I want to divulge why I'm considering doing that just at the moment, but I am thinking about learning Dart. Well, Dart and Flutter, but also Dart as in a standalone language.
Ooh, a new project.
An existing project, maybe a rewrite. There we go. So Lucas said thanks for that. He was having difficulty watching on his tablet. So you can see the Dockerfile is remarkably simple. So I wonder if maybe not for this stream, but maybe for a follow-on stream, some of those incantations in your Docker run line, could we bury those in the entry point or a command, or add the volumes to the Dockerfile to sort of mean that there are fewer bits of magic we have to do to actually run the container?
I think so. One thing I think we could do is, of course, that would. One thing I thought we could do, but I'm not sure that would work because it could be different on different systems, is the display environment variable, but again, that could be different on different systems.
Right. So our podcast says they pulled up a run command, Docker run, and it looks like they've done this very thing in the past and they'd completely forgotten about it. Aren't history files amazing? I found an epic command in my history just recently. Yeah. Rewrite Rust in Dart. It's all kicking off in the Rust community. Have you seen all the mods have resigned, Danny? Yeah, it's getting serial over there. Right, okay. Well, Yannick, did we answer your question? Did if you could just bring up your Docker run command there a second again, Primoz. So there we go. There's all the magic. I think, I tell you what, here, how about this? Slim.AI have got a wonderful line. Hang on a moment. If I look in my boxes over here, I might get... Right. As winter is coming, let me just move back to the big view of the two of us. As winter is coming, we have woolly hats. We've got Cody on the front, Slim.AI on the back. So, Primoz, you do me a favour. If you can post into the Slim.AI Discord the Dockerfile and the command to run it. Anyone who can, the first person who can create a Dockerfile that encompasses some of that magic from the Docker run command in the Dockerfile gets a beanie. So BigPod can post that in there, and the first person who can refactor that into something more reusable, I'll send a beanie to you wherever you are in the world. And I say me, I will probably call on the expert assistance of my colleague Gillian.
Apparently it's harder than it wants to be.
Oh, really?
I think I know what I need to do. I think it doesn't have a extension. No, it actually says something is wrong.
Okay.
If we check.
Oh, okay. In which case, if you just get those to me, I will post them in there. If you put backticks around 3 backticks around each end of your command, that will turn it into formatted text, and one at the front as well. Okay, so that should... Upload failed. Oh, I see. I don't see, actually. Okay, you and I will figure that out after the fact, how to get that information into the forum. And then we will, into the Discord, sorry. And then once that's in there, feel free to have a stab at making that a more approachable... So Danny has an idea. Come on then, Danny. Let's hear your idea. We're patiently looking at the chat to see what you're going to suggest. You've got an idea in the Discord. Okay, let me just move over there. So, put the command inside an echo, and then Docker run. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, well, you can try that, Danny. It sounds like you're well on the way to being a beanie winner here. If anyone, I tell you what, anyone that comes up with a more refined solution gets a beanie, but it has to be different from anyone else that's posted one before. So if Danny's in there first with a good idea, that's fine. But if you can find another way to refine the Dockerfile and the Docker run command, then I'll make sure that you get a beanie, hopefully before Christmas. How does that sound? Right, okay. So thanks very much, Primoz, for that. That was actually that went better than I expected. I thought we were going to struggle with that a little bit more. I thought that maybe that X-authority stuff was going to be a little bit more tricky than it turned out to be. Because I thought we were going to have to like generate tokens and things, but apparently.
Well, just one hint for everybody. If you want to have your own settings in the apps you run, you can pass your home directory in as well. Then you don't need the X authority specifically, because it will be already included.
So if this was an app of your own, your own consumption, you'd probably be comfortable doing something like that,
Well,
passing through
maybe.
your whole home directory, as
Maybe.
opposed to something that you consume from the internet. You might be a little bit concerned about what that has access to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that snaps take into account. This is why they've got all that whole munging of the home directory, so that you don't expose the whole home directory to the app. Specifically, privileged information like your GPG and SSH keys. So Danny's saying Wayland next week. Actually, no. Next week we have an interview. So stick around. So follow us on Twitter at SlimDevOps to get notification for that. Or if you're not already a member of our Discord, get signed up there so you get notifications. But next week we have an interview lined up. Our interviews have been quite good, you may have noticed. So you probably want to stick something in the calendar for that. But Wayland is a good idea. So maybe we can do that as an ad hoc something or other. Danny, do you know how to do that? Do you want to have a go at that? Are you interested in joining me to tackle that one? You suggested it. Do you fancy having a go? Do you want to come on and join? Give it a try? Let me know if you fancy it. Well, that's it for now. So, so Danny says they think they know how to do Wayland. Okay, Danny. Well, have a think about it, and if you want to come on and give it a go, let us know. So Eric, I did see that there's been a lively conversation on Twitter between you and your friends from the R community about Docker Slim. So yes, thank you for that. Things are getting a bit more warm around. I mean, Docker Slim's very popular already, but in recent weeks it has, since sort of KubeCon, it's really kicked on a bit. Okay, Danny. Well, okay, I think for now we will wrap it up there. Thank you all very much for coming. I hope you learned something. I think I learned just enough to be a bit more dangerous now. I'm just wondering, well, what application do I stick it? Oh, I know. An OBS Studio Docker image. That's what we need. An OBS Studio Docker. What could possibly be easier than that? Yes, that feels like the next step. Go from something quite straightforward to every bit of GPU acceleration imaginable. Couldn't be easier.
Yeah.
Yannick agrees.
I already have a plan for what I'm gonna use this. But
Are you up for trying that? Who's up for trying that collectively? Because that's a big endeavour. But I'm prepared to give it a go if people are happy to pitch in and help.
Well, we could try it one day. Especially to get at the level, to be a challenge, especially to get at the level of how your snap is.
Yeah, well, that would be my measure of success. It has to be better than the snap. But yeah,
the hardest thing would be the actually getting the acceleration working.
Yeah, so there's a lot to pass around there. Although there are tools specifically for Docker to make that easier. So it may in some cases be a little bit easier than actually what I had to do to get the snap working. Oh, Danny, you and your cheaty shortcuts. So Danny's suggesting run unsquashfs obs studio.snap. That'll get you some way there for sure. Probably get you a lot of the way there actually. But no, that's not how I want to do it. I want to actually build it all inside the Dockerfile.
I just had a cheeky idea that I'm not sure I want to share.
Well, I tell you what. So this is I'll accept ideas of where to start on this in the Discord, and I have been working on something else to build OBS in another way. And when I say OBS, I don't just mean vanilla OBS. I mean like the Snap with every plugin imaginable included. So if people have got ideas where to start with a Docker image of OBS Studio armed to the teeth with plugins, then share your ideas in the Discord. I'm definitely up for having a go at this and trying to make this a thing. You can't snap install OBS Studio in a Dockerfile, Yannick, because it requires systemd to do that, and there is no PID1 in a Docker image.
Does it have does snapd actually have a direct requirement, like coded requirement?
It does.
Okay.
But Danny has identified how you can do it. You can download the snap and unpack it. So there are means to do that. Yeah, and Danny has also done work to, make that whole snap inside Docker thing work. I believe that was part of WSL, Danny. Is that right? That you sort of embarked on that mission? Rewrite systemd and Dart. Oh, Yannick, please. Now you're definitely trolling.
No.
Rewriting systemd is no. Let's not.
Rewriting systemd. There is only one language I can think of. I would wanna hurt to rewrite systemd in.
Which would be?
And that's the other C. I believe it's written in C, so in C++.
Right.
The other horrible C
so
language.
.NET.
No, that's C#. Let's leave C# alone. It gets enough dislike by Linux people already. We don't want to saddle it with the stigma of systemd as well.
Well, there we go. So there we go. There's two challenges. Primoz and I will get the Dockerfile and that published in the Discord. Anyone that can make it better, that can be like a part 2 that we can revisit on like how to do this in a more elegant way. If anyone wants to have a go at putting Wayland inside a Docker image, please share that too. That would be very cool. And ideas on how to approach OBS Studio inside Docker, let us know in the Discord. I have been thinking about that for some time now, and I am serious about having a go at it. So if you want to join in and have a bash at that, I'm game.
That would be fun.
I think so. I think it's a good challenge. I think there's a lot to learn there because there's a lot of stuff to wrangle. So I think it'll be a great learning experience.
A lot of stuff to pass in.
Okay, so Yannick is signing up for the OBS in a Docker container. So okay,
the run command will be huge. At least I think so.
It will absolutely be massive because if you look at the snap, there are at least 24 things that have to happen.
Well, just from the basics, you will need to pass in all the stuff for audio. If you want to have any kind of screen capture, camera capture,
virtual cameras. Yeah, there's so much. This is why I'm not asking idly for ways to make what we've just done more elegant, because there will be direct learnings and benefits from that experience to carry over into something more complex like an OBS Studio snap. Dockerfile, rather. Okay. Right then. Thank you all for stopping by. For those of you that are in America, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're having a lovely time, and maybe you are due asleep at this point in the day. I know how it goes. In about a month from now, we'll be doing the same over here that you're doing today. So have a lovely holiday season if you're in North America, and for everyone else, lovely to see you all again, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks, Primoz, for joining me today.
It was fun.
It was a good one. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.